Hey, welcome to Conversion Assist. In this video, we're going to get you set up on the path of success in hopefully 10 minutes or less. So let me cover what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about having the app installed on your phone so you can handle things on the go, inviting other team members so that way they can also communicate with your customers. We're going to buy a phone number, show you where that goes, and we're going to connect a lot of your social profiles and Google Business Listing to this system, as well as make sure the reputation and review message we send out is ready to go and what you're looking for. And from that point forward, it'll be pretty straightforward on how to use the system, which we'll cover in other videos. So in this case, let's jump right in. The first thing you're gonna notice is when you create a ConversionAssist account, when you become a customer, you're gonna get an email that looks something like this. It sometimes can land in the spam folder, so please look there if you didn't see one. And this will have a URL to log in, which you're gonna wanna bookmark and save it on your desktop, your username, and your password. You're going to save this information, you're going to need it later. So the first thing you want to do is log in to the system, and when you do, you're going to want to click on Launchpad, this little option at the top. Now when you do that, you're going to see two options that are usually at the very top. For some reason this one's showing up there today. And you're going to want to download our app. So what this is going to do is invite you to put in your phone number, your cell number. It's going to send you a link, and that link is going to take you to either Apple or App Store, where you can download the app for free, depending on what kind of phone you have. So you just do that. You're going to use the same login information that you just got in that email to log into the app. So you're going to want to do that right away, because once you start connecting things and you buy a phone number, you could be getting messages from customers pretty quickly. So we want to definitely do that. The next thing you want to focus on is any team members you want to invite. Click on Add right here. Just pop in their email addresses. You can just do, if you want to enter more than one, you can type an email address and enter, and it'll do a second one, whatever you want to do. And then just hit send invite. They're going to get the same sort of an email with a username and password that you got. Again, it may end up in spam the first time. That's just unfortunately how it goes. But you're going to invite your team members, make sure that they know what's going on. When they get invited, they need to go to the Launchpad section just like you did and download the app as well. That way they can also communicate while they're on the go. So that's the second thing we want to do. Now, what we want to do next is click on our settings option at the bottom left here. We're going to want to look at the business information we have. Please make sure your information is complete and accurate. Now, the reason why this is important is because we're about to buy a phone number so we can use for texting, and the way things are working in the US with a lot of the phone carriers is you need to have your business registered with that phone number. And this is the information that we will use in our system to make sure that is done and is in compliance. Otherwise, what happens is your text messages don't always go through. So you're gonna need to fill out this bit of information here, your physical address information here, make sure it's all accurate, this authorized representative section here, and then this business information here. So I know it's 4 different sections, but it's super important. Otherwise, you're going to need to have an issue getting your phone number approved. Now, you can still use the phone number, it'll still work. It's just sometimes you might have a case where your text messages don't all go out perfectly, and this can be why, okay? So just bear that in mind. That's what you need to do here. And then down here, this is optional, but we do recommend if you want to create a voicemail to use, the system can use it. The reason why you'd want to use the voicemail is because if somebody calls your ConversionAssist phone number that we're about to purchase, and let's just say you don't want them to get your cell phone number because that's where the calls get forwarded to, you don't want them to hear that voicemail, then you can upload a voicemail, an MP3 file, a WAV file. You just use your phone voice recorder or something online. You can upload it right here. Let's just say, for example, you use this timeout to say 10 seconds. That means when somebody calls your new phone number or any of your phone numbers, if you don't answer in 10 seconds, our system will automatically send them to that voicemail, which will be recorded. It'll live inside of ConversionAssist and also notify you on the app. So you're gonna know you have one. It's just another way to do it. This is really only handy if you don't want people to hear the voicemail that's on the phone numbers you're sending all your calls to. And that's usually when it's a personal voicemail. So that's where that can come in handy. You just hit save call settings, as well as save information on all these other sections you have right here. Okay, great. Next step, we're gonna buy a phone number. So go right here to phone numbers, click on that option, and you're gonna see I have a phone number in here already, but you won't see this. I'll use this as an example in a moment. What you're gonna wanna do is click add phone number, and you would choose whatever area code is relevant for you here in the US, and you're gonna find, okay, area code 954, I choose a phone number, I see the monthly fee for that phone number, I hit save. Now what you're gonna get after you hit save are options like this. So you're gonna have to name the phone number. We recommend calling, if you're only going to buy one phone number just for texting and maybe people to call, then I would recommend calling it SMS phone number or SMS number, whatever you want. It's just so you know what the number is being used for. And you're also going to, if you have more than one, you're going to want to choose it as your default outbound number. What does that mean? It means when you make a call from the app or when you text out from the app, that is the number that we're using by default. You can actually choose, if you have multiple phone numbers, you can choose in the app which phone number you want to use to make that call. But for right now, we're going to want to name that number. We're going to want to choose the phone number to send the calls to. And then this feature is super important to know what it is. It's on by default. And if you don't want to use it, that's fine. But let me explain what this does. So the Enable Call Connect feature allows our system to know when a call is missed. Okay? Most call systems, if your voicemail picks up, they don't know whether the call was missed. It appears to them like the call was answered a lot of the time. So we have automation in place. So when you miss a phone call, we automatically text that person back and say, hey, this is your company name. We just missed your call. How can we help? And this is how we're able to recover lost revenue and lost customers that you might miss because you can't get back to them right away, or they call the next business and it's not you. So that's one reason to use it. Now, when this feature is turned on, like it is now, you're going to hear when somebody calls your phone number, when you answer the phone as the business, the customer is waiting for you to answer, you're going to hear a voice say, incoming lead, press any key to connect. And then when you press a key, it could be the 5 button, the 1 button, the 7, whatever, any key on your phone, that will connect the call. That is how we know 100% certain that your call was answered, or that the call was answered. If you do not press a key, then our system will assume it was a missed call because obviously nobody hit the button. If you don't like the message that you hear, by default, to press any key to connect, you can click on whisper message right here and put whatever message you want. I would keep it really, really short and to the point, and I would also include at the very end, press any key to connect, so you know so the person answering the phone, if it's not you, knows that they have to press the key. If you have staff answering the phone, you definitely need to let them know that this is what's going to happen, so they don't think it's some kind of a spam call, that they know it's coming from the system. Otherwise, they might not realize, oh, these are our calls. We didn't know we had this new system in place. Just make sure they're on the same page with you. And then call recording we enable by default. If you want to turn it off, you can. I don't know why you would, but perfectly fine if you want to. And then this is our message that the customer will hear when they call. This call may be recorded. You can change it, put whatever you want. Completely up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and exit that. So now we have our phone number created. We're going to want to go to our next section, which is going to be our integrations. So down here is integrations. And here's where we're going to connect some of our social profiles and some of our other systems. Now, this is mostly optional. We definitely recommend doing it. I'll explain why and what it does here. But the 3 or 4, I guess the 3 main ones we really want to look at are these 3. It's Google My Business, or Google Business Profile, now it's called, and Facebook, Instagram. So for Google, you're going to want to click sign in with Google. This won't be here, this is just because we already signed in. It's going to ask you to fill out to basically provide permissions like so, and you're going to basically choose allow so we can do what we need to do for you. Once you do that, you're going to see the options right here. You're going to choose a Google Analytics account. Again, this is not mandatory, but definitely highly recommended. We can pull some traffic stats from analytics that will help you out later on. And then you can also send data to analytics. So in this case, you would choose your account from this drop down, choose your property. If it's a Google Analytics 4 or a regular analytics account, you might only see one there, which is perfectly fine. Choose the one that you have. This is this video is done in 2023, so pretty soon you're only going to be able to choose a GA4 account anyway, depending when you watch this. So just be aware. And then if you have a Google Ads account or you plan to have one, then add it here. You basically just choose a drop down. You'll see a list of Google Ads accounts that this email address that you connected has access to. If you don't see your stuff here, it's probably because whatever email address you connected does not have access to it. So you're going to need to add it as a user. If you need help with that, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you out. Once you select your ads account, you'll be good to go. And this is the one that's really important, Google My Business. So you're going to click on select a GMB page. That's going to use the email you just connected with to look up what page you have access to. You just open this drop down and select your page here. And then enable GMB call tracking is super important. We just bought a phone number, and so what our system will do is if this is enabled, which it is by default, you can turn it off if you like, but this will use the new phone number we just purchased, or a phone number, to become the primary phone number in your Google My Business listing. Now don't worry, it doesn't hurt your SEO. Your existing phone number, whatever's there now, will become the secondary phone number in your listing, so it doesn't affect your SEO. But the reason why this is really, really helpful is all the phone calls that you get from Google My Business will now come through your phone number, so that way all the calls will be recorded. We can use the same missed call automation that we talked about earlier. You can do a lot of different things, and it just unifies all the incoming phone calls. Also, when you link this page, it's going to enable Google My Business Chat, which means when people have the option now to chat with you through your Google My Business listing, that will come into your app, just like a text message would or a Facebook Messenger message. So you have some additional options you wouldn't normally have. And with Enable GMB call tracking, you can hear all your calls come through ConversionAssist and work just fine. Now, the only caveat is if the phone number you bought, if you're sending those calls to a different phone number than what's in your GMB listing, then our system will not update it, because it wants to make sure that the calls you get go to the same forwarding number, right? So basically, if you have any questions about that, let us know and we'll be happy to help. But that's how that works. You just select your page, leave this option enabled if you want, hit connect. Lastly, we're looking at Facebook and Instagram. This is already connected, but you're going to see an option to connect. You're going to choose permissions, much like you just saw we did for Google. You'll accept those permissions, and you've got a few options to include a Facebook ad account. I recommend doing it if you have one. You think you might run ads in the future. Really, really helpful. It's not going to create ads for you or anything. It's just so you can link it so all the data comes through. And then you're going to see some options for Messenger and Instagram. If you want to use your Instagram direct messaging here, you need to click on Reconnect Facebook, and that will connect it for you if it's not already. And that's basically how that works. So now your Messenger messages are coming in, your Instagram messages are coming in, as well as text messages, Google My Business messages, all coming into your conversation stream, which we'll talk about in another video. If you want to connect TikTok, you surely can. If you want to use Stripe integration, like say you want to connect payments later on, this is where we can send people payment links like text messages where they can tip or they can pay for things. We can do that, but you have to use Stripe. So just use Stripe, log into that account. If you don't have one, you have to create one, and that's how that works. And then one last step will be reviews. So our system, one of the main features is getting reviews. You'll see on the left column here, reputation management. And really what we're gonna have to do here is when you connect to Google My Business in the previous step, you can just click generate link again. And when you click generate link, it's gonna repopulate this link with a link to your Google My Business listing. This is actually not just the listing, but it's also when people go to this link, it pops up the review section. This makes it super powerful for them to know right where to go to leave a review. Now this link does not have to be a Google Maps listing. This can be a TripAdvisor listing page. This can be whatever you want. But just remember, when you click generate link, it's gonna create a Google My Business link based on your Google My Business account that you've connected. Okay, so once you've done that, generate link, hit save. I would also recommend just double clicking on it, right click, and then go to just to check out, make sure everything's good. You're happy with where it's going. And then you've got a few other options here for review requests. Now by default, we have SMS review requests. And now what that means is that there's a few different things you can do. If you want, you can add an image. It will make the cost, it basically increase the cost of your text message. So we have it off by default, but you could add an image. It would be right here at the top of the text. It'd be the first thing that they see. But again, optional. We really don't use that very often. It's just something you can do if you want. Then we have this message. This is a pre-populated message that we've created for you. You don't have to use it. You can edit it, and that's why we're here. But basically the way this works is it's going to say, hey, contact first name. That is your customer's first name. This is location name. That is your business name. We want to thank you for your business, blah, blah, blah. And hope you enjoyed your contact booking type. This is the product they purchased from you. Maybe it was a pontoon rental. Maybe it was a day tour. Maybe it was a wine and cheese tour, whatever it was. Based on your booking platform, that's going to populate here. If for some reason you're testing these messages and you don't see anything here and you're sending it to yourself, let's say, it's most likely because you're not a contact in the system, or you're a contact in the system without a booking type. So we'll look at that in a later video, but just be aware that if you do see a blank here, it just means that you probably don't have an actual booking in the system. And then basically just say, look, we read every response, so you can edit this to your heart's content. Just be aware of one really important thing is if you look at the preview, this bit.ly link, this is the link that takes you wherever this is, whatever URL you have here. So this is always the last thing in the message. So that means that whatever you write here, just be aware that you cannot move this link in the middle of the message or put anything after it. It will always be the last thing, which means I would just leave this line as the last line, leave it alone, keep it simple. Whatever your changes you make, just go ahead and hit save like this. And now that will be the message people get via text to our automation when they want to send a review. There's something else you can also do, completely up to you. We'll talk about in a minute, which is scheduling these things to go out if people don't interact. So let's just say, for example, we want to follow a custom schedule, which means we want to look at this and say, okay, we want to send this right after somebody checks in. You can just ignore this because we send it right away. We send it a day after their booking, but we could do this where we repeat it. So let's just say we send this text out and that person that we sent it to does not click on this link. We can send it to them. We can either not repeat it at all. We can send it every 3 days, every week, every 15 days, or some custom amount. And we could say, all right, well, let's repeat this every 3 days. And we're going to try, we're going to do this twice. So now they're going to get one the first time. They're going to get, in 3 more days, they're going to get it again. Then 3 more days, they'll get it again. Then it won't send anymore. This is a way that you can remind people. It'll be the same message over and over again, but that's just one way you can do it where it automatically hits them up again and has a better chance of you getting a review from them. That's, again, if you want to do that, you don't have to. This option is off by default, but we just wanted you to know that that's available and what that means. Lastly, we've got email reviews. So this is toggled off. We can toggle it on and change this, where basically our system will email customers. This is enabled and we have it set up for you. You'll have to ask us to do that. And it'll enable customers to get a message like this. This is the subject line of the email. This is the text. You can change it to whatever you like. Change the button text to say, heck yeah. And basically it's just asking for feedback to leave a review. When they click heck yeah, it takes them to the link that's at the top of this page again, whatever's in this little box. So that is the system in a nutshell. There's not much else you have to do from this point. Just be aware these settings are the ones you're really going to want to focus on. Get a phone number in place, invite people, and make sure 100% for sure you have the app downloaded on your phone if you plan to communicate with people via the app. So if you have any questions, let us know. Thanks for watching, and we're excited to have you. Take care.